have bees at school, and we went up with Matt to go see them. First of all, we had to put on these massive bee suits, but make sure it's all like zipped up here, and like got like our gloves on and shoe protectors, and Hannah also came up with us, and we were all scared at the time, like, weren't we?
So when we got up there, I felt like a bit scared, but like as well not. I felt like I was quite confident, and I was like, I think everything's gonna be fine. And then, yeah.
First time when I went there, it was like I didn't know what to do, so I wanted to calm myself down because I didn't want to make the bees frightened that I'm gonna hurt them. So I was like, I don't know, I was scared, but I tried not to be scared.
So it's just calm,
a little bit of bees coming out,
just
like flying around.
And Matt said not to go near the front because like loads of bees hanging around there.
Yeah.
And it was just like quite scary because you didn't know what to expect when it's going to jump out at you or something.
Yeah.
And then when he opened it, we were like, whoa,
geez.
oh my God, and it was very scary to us.
Yeah.
It was when I was actually walking away from the beehive to scratch my face, and when I looked down on my shoe, I saw this bee right here on my ankle, and then I started panicking, jumping up and down until I got stung. And I learned now, never jump up and down when a bee's on your... It felt sharp and painful. And we actually, when we saw the stinger, it was on my sock, and we managed to see how it actually looked like up close. I'm a bit scared of them now, but I mean, like, if I go up there again, I think I'll build up my confidence again up there, because like sometimes for example, if you got bitten or anything by a dog or a cat or any animal, you feel scared of them, but now when you go up to them again, then you are facing your fear again, and then you're just going to be like, you know what, I shouldn't be scared anymore. And so yeah, that's what, yeah.
How did I get interested in bees? Bees arrived at school, and they were a friend and colleague of mine, Ash, had an interest in bees already, and it was his idea to put beehives on the roof space at school. And he sent a message out saying, who wants to be involved? I was like, I'm busy, but yeah. And that was it really. So I then took part in the training. Originally I wasn't included because there wasn't enough spaces. And then I got an email like the week before saying, do you want to be in? Yes, please.
Why were bees born with stingers?
A great question. Natural selection by design. Interestingly, they die, don't they, when they sting? But it's for that really connects to the point earlier around the animal being a colony. So bees will they'll put their life at risk. They'll give their lives up for the protection, the protection of the queen. But the colony works for the colony, and the life of the colony is worth more than the bee's individual life on its own.
How did you feel when you started working with the bees?
I love that idea of working with the bees, because they work and you work with them, don't you? It's really important, because when people think about keeping bees, at the end of the day, they make the choices. Yeah. But how did I feel? Do you know what? I don't think I'd ever really thought about what actually goes on in the hive. So I remember being really surprised when I first saw inside and actually saw how many there were in one place. That was so surprised, but also just intrigued, like wow, and wanted to know more.
Why do bees need honey?
What a great technical question. Why do bees need honey? make honey for food. It's really, really that simple. So bees, I always think about rather than the bee being the animal, the colony is like the animal. So what they do over the year is they go out and collect their nectar and store it up and evaporate all the water, which makes the honey, and that's their food stores. And that's their carbohydrate. So where we eat bread and spaghetti, they eat their honey, but they store it away for the winter. And then they also have their protein, which is the pollen from the flowers, and that's like the equivalent of our steak. So it's like steak and chips. That's what they store away.
Why do bees need carbohydrate and protein?
So for a balanced diet, a nice square meal. So what they have, you think about honey, is really high. It's a natural sugar. Okay, so that sugar is part of what gives us energy. So the carbohydrate is their energy. It's the thing that helps them go out and fly. And then the protein, which comes from the pollen, is what helps their tissues grow and their sort of bee bodies be strong.
What do usually queen bees eat?
What do queen bees eat? They eat the same. So the reason I put my head on my hand is they eat the same. But what they are, so this is a really good question because I'm still not quite sure about the royal jelly. The royal jelly is normally what's fed to the grubs, and that's what makes a queen. So bees choose when they want a new queen. So all of any egg could be made into a queen, and it's made by feeding it royal jelly. So it's like a special food.
How do bees communicate with each other?
I love that you know. Yeah, look at you. Waggle dance. It's the waggle dance, isn't it? There's still lots of science actually at the moment which is looking into that communication. How much do bees actually communicate? Can I show you the waggle dance? Not yet, not on camera. So the understanding is that they communicate. So the waggle dance, depending on how long they shake for, so the number of seconds they do that for is equal to the number of kilometres away or miles away that the pollen source is, and then the direction, they kind of move in a direction, and that's from north. So I've never seen a bee flying around with a compass working out where to go, but they seem to have this magic way of finding out by dancing.
Can bees sting other bees?
Yeah, I've seen it. So what bees are quite, I talked earlier about the colony being the animal. Bees know which bees are in their colony, in their club, and they know which bees are from somewhere else by the pheromone, by the essentially the smell from either their queen or another one. So that's what bonds them together. And if a bee arrives from another colony, you have at the front of the entrance to the hive, one bee roll is a guard bee, and they will they'll notice if a bee from another colony has come in, and they'll pounce on it and buzz it and boot it out the door.
How did you feel about being a beekeeper?
Well, I really enjoy helping look after the bees. It's I feel like it's a very special privilege that you've got when you look after the bees, and all of your attention is completely focused on the job in hand, because you're looking exactly where all your hands are going, because you don't want to squash a bee or get stung, and you've got to try to be really careful at each stage. So yeah, I found it to be very lovely and quite privileged to do it as well.
What was it like the first time that you saw the bees?
It's quite, your heart goes. I don't know if you guys felt like when you went to see the bees as well, but you kind of feel a little bit nervous. I had a camera, so I was doing some filming. I had to make sure where my hands were on the camera, they weren't going to get a bee trapped, because the bees show a lot of interest in you when you go out. The noise struck me. I wasn't prepared for the noise or the smell. The smell is lovely. It's got a really lovely earthy honey type smell, but the wood as well of the beehive smells really nice. And the noise of the bees, so when you open up the hive, the further into the hive you get, the noise gets louder as the bees get a little bit more unhappy that you're having a look around, and it kind of like a big deafening zzz, like really loud. So that's what I remember my first visit to the bees. And just, I don't know if you've ever had it when you're doing a sport and you're completely involved in that sport and you can't think of anything else. Have you ever had that? I sometimes have that with certain sports that I do, not all sports, and it's kind of like that. You're so focused on what you're doing, you've got like a heightened level of awareness and focus when you're looking at the bees.